Welcome back, episode number 4 of the Three Kings Bourbon Podcast. We are here at the Happy Hour Bar and Liquor Store. I am Bryce Wilson. This is
Shane Burke.
and this is
Tucker Schroeder.
And you know what? We've got something today. Again, this is something that you can find, something that we like, something that we enjoy, and we'll get into all that stuff. But it's the Wild Turkey Rare Breed sitting right here on this table. So, boys.
Yeah, what's going on, fellas?
What's going
How we
on?
doing?
How's life
How
been,
we
man?
doing? Another episode, another week, another episode.
I said, how's life been? Like, we don't speak every single day,
literally
but
talk about bets every day and everything every day.
And everything every day. I talk to you all. So, yeah, we're going to pretend like we're catching up, but this is just another thing.
Just catching up with the viewers, though.
Catching up with the viewers. How are you all doing? You all let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
man,
let us know how
you
you're
need
doing.
something.
Get into that fall season.
Oh, yeah.
Early
baby.
November.
Yep.
You know,
I keep missing Keeneland, man.
Yeah,
I need to get. I want to do Keeneland fall. I just hadn't.
What about the?
Yeah, let's hit. What is it called?
You're literally seeing us remember stuff that we've already talked about. Churchill Downs fall.
Churchill Downs. Yeah, let's go to the Churchill Downs fall.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think just if anybody knows anything about that, hit us up. Let us know, what to do,
Get us
where to
locked
see.
in.
I think that'd be cool.
But I would hate it so bad if somebody got us free stuff at Churchill.
That would be
that
so
would suck.
awful.
But you know what, man? Let's do this. Let's go ahead and get into bourbon news. Tucker, I know you mentioned Blue Run. Let's go ahead and talk about what they're doing in Georgetown with that $51 million. I'm gonna let you take off.
Blue Run?
Blue Run, baby.
Yeah,
Blue Run.
I think it's no secret. Blue Run. We've seen it quite a bit around in our area. Definitely a big time brand. I would say now, like very quickly, as far as their success goes, they're opening a brick and mortar location in Georgetown, Kentucky, which is not something we see a ton of. Like just people just, we talked about Bardstown Bourbon Company in the last episode, but now we're seeing another brand kind of take on a big distillery project, and a place like Georgetown too, which is definitely an up and coming location.
I would say arguably. I don't have to look at the statistics per capita, but I would venture to say it's one of the fastest growing cities in the country.
Yeah.
Not in the state.
Yeah.
I mean, Toyota's got that thing booming. I mean, you're about to have a distillery there that's going to have all kind of attraction to it. I mean, Georgetown's blowing up. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Lexington is getting bigger than it can handle. So what's happening is you're starting to see, people are spilling over into Georgetown, into Richmond, and things like that. So I think that's another reason for the Georgetown boom is because they can handle some of the infrastructure that Lexington is. We're running out of housing, we're running out of jobs, so people are starting to go to places like Georgetown. With that whole Blue Run distillery, Nicholasville. But yeah, with Blue Run being there, it's another 45 full-time jobs, which is incredible for the state. We like to see things like that, of course. And I think they're gonna have a rick house, 20,000 square foot rick house on site as well. In addition to the brick and mortar, where you're gonna be able to taste and tour and do all these other things. So completion date on that is set at 2025.
2025, yeah.
Yeah. So you know how that goes. They may have to push that back, or maybe a little more than $51 million. We don't know, but we're excited for it nonetheless to see that brand continue to grow. And I know you're a huge fan of the branding as well.
So yeah, I love the branding. I want to kind of take a step back real quick. Yeah. I want to know, do y'all know anything about if Blue Run has ties to Georgetown, or I mean, is it just like a prime location? I mean, where's Blue Run headquarters located right now? Does anybody know?
I don't know if they have. I actually don't know what their headquarters situation looks like at the moment. I do think the selection of Georgetown is intentional, though.
Sure.
For the reasons you've already mentioned, as far as capita goes, like how many people they have coming to that area. It's seated right. I think I-64 is a unofficial Bourbon Trail road anyway. Right. So it's seated, right there, Lexington, in between Lexington and Frankfort. So I think as far as prime locations go, definitely a location that's very accessible for a lot of people who are in and out of the area. Yeah. And it's also its own feel too. Like Georgetown doesn't have anything like this as far as, distilleries go. So I think that's
Bourbon 30 is there, but it's different. Bourbon 30 is
right
there, but it is different. It's not Blue Run status. And Bourbon 30 is really cool. They have cool experience there as well, but it's not, you're right. It's not Blue Run. Blue Run's its own thing. And
to get back into what you were mentioning though, I mean, I think Blue Run has set has set the bar exponentially high as far as their following goes. And I think that they're a brand that gets people, and this is something that I mentioned the last episode with Bardstown. They get people like our age to be like, hey, this brand is cool. Like, it's something that I want to keep up with. I think it's cool, like, Alexa and Bree, like your wife, my girlfriend, they're talking about, they know what it is just because, like, they know what the butterfly looks like. That's cool.
It's colorful. When you see something Blue Run on Instagram, it's aesthetically appeasing. Like, it's something like you would want to repost, or like it looks good. If you walk into happy hour here, you see it on the shelf, like, it's definitely an eye candy bottle, and the juice is good too.
It's also good. It's also good. I mean, we've seen Shaylin Gaiman have her hands on several projects now, and I think that she's another big factor why Blue Run is the way it is. That's awesome to see women in whiskey like that who are helping create and direct a brand from the actual spirit to everything else that Blue Run has going for it. So.
And Coors, the drinking Coors Light, Mountains Are Blue. That Molson Coors, I don't know what they're.
Something like
I don't know what the
something or another. Anyway,
the
government
just purchased Blue Run. So you think about as far as funding goes, we talked about what 50. How much was it?
51 million.
Yeah.
I mean that's pennies to Coors. A massive beer brewery. They. I mean, definitely a global brand as far as beer goes, but. A lot of exciting things going on with Blue Run as far as that's the first investment from a large scale, brewing. You think about their distribution, their overall just what they put out as far as cases go for beer. I mean, think about what they can apply to a distillery. Granted, bourbon's a lot different. It's an aged product, whatever, but you think about what they will eventually be able to impart on Blue Run as far as logistics go. I mean, the sky's the limit for branding like that. Eventually, now location, and then backing as far as a company like Coors. I mean, I definitely going to be a place to keep our eye on. And I just know that they keep innovating their products. I mean, think about all these different bottles they come out with.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, it's super cool. I think that the rendering on their location is super dope.
Yeah,
and there's no telling with what, like, I mean, they've already had this vision, and now a company like Coors buying them. There's no telling like what else they could do. It could be
whatever they want.
And the last thing I kind of want to hit on for bourbon news, maybe we should get into a women in bourbon kind of segment. I think something that would be cool for us to discuss is the little hidden barn project that I don't remember her name.
Jackie Zykan.
Yeah, I think that's so cool, dude.
Yeah,
I think that's something that we could talk about. It's kind of not necessarily like news because it's not necessarily new. It's something that people aren't too privy to, but I think that women in bourbon is awesome.
I think one thing that I would say a common misconception, and definitely being in Kentucky, you learn that it's not that way at all. But I think whiskey as a whole is something that could maybe be considered as a man's drink. It's what what
especially
men
an
like.
older man's drink.
We see so many women when we go to happy hour anywhere we go.
Way more than you think.
Drinking bourbon cocktails, bourbon on the rocks. We have master blenders, master distillers that are women and making fantastic products.
Awesome.
I mean, think about we brought up Jackie. I mean, what she did at Old Forester as far as some of the blends she brought, some of the birthday bourbons she was responsible for, some of the best bourbon that Old Foresters came out with. And now that she's onto her Hidden Barn project, she's, doing her own thing, which I think is really respectable. And that bourbon's just getting better and better. And they're coming out with ryes too. So
it's awesome.
I'll tell you what, the Kentucky Black Bourbon Guild that I've been a part of for last little bit. There's a lot of women in that too, which is awesome. I mean, and so cool about that organization. It's a segue, but it's a lot of African American influence on bourbon over the years that just wasn't in the light as it should have been.
Right.
So you see women, you see more African American influence in bourbon. You see a lot more than what is traditionally thought of with bourbon, and I think that's what's so cool about it. And when I travel for work or anything like that, I'm sitting around a table of people from all different, forms of life, walks of life, religions, races, gender, whatever. And we're all sitting having a glass of whiskey. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
You know what? That's how it should be, man.
How it should be.
I mean, a lot of people see, this drink as a older gentleman's drink, regardless of race or anything. But anybody should enjoy it. And that's one thing that we're going to try to encourage us as the Three Kings. Like, we want to encourage anyone to enjoy these beverages. And
Over 21.
Over 21.
Almost anyone.
Almost anyone.
Almost anyone, but yeah.
Like a king.
Yeah. Drink responsibly, like a king.
Yes. Sorry, Shane. I'm going to cut you off there, brother.
That's all right, bro. But yeah, anyways, I mean, just trying to get people to understand, what it is that we're drinking. We're trying to bring awareness. That's really the cause of the show. We want people to see, what we think and bring awareness to this drink that we love so much. And why don't we get into some?
I was gonna say, you know what? Let's bring awareness to this wild turkey rare breed. What you think about that, man? Let's look at it. So we're sitting at 111 on this thing, proof wise.
I think it's like
116.8. Excuse me. So this is gonna be a little stouter in proof for those of you who are not necessarily foolproof bourbon drinkers or higher proof, barrel proof, whatever. But this is still, in a sense, approachable to me, and we'll get into that. Age statement wise, is not disclosed on the bottle. Do either of you gentlemen know?
I do think they it's believed to be between like 8 to 10 years old. And I saw speculation they obviously don't release that. But,
Correct.
Wild Turkey is blessed to have some older stocks that they can put into their bourbon.
Yeah. You said 8 to 12, Tucker?
I think it's 8 to 12, just in between those areas. So it's obviously not disclosed, but I think that's the belief from Turkey.
Yeah. I mean, you look how dark this thing is, and you look how thick this is. I mean, you can tell there's a little age on it. I mean, you can definitely tell. And with some of the notes that we'll get into as well, it's kind of an indicator of how old a bourbon can be with some of that oak and some of that older char influence that we're getting in the pour. But I tell you what, man, let's go and sniff it, because I like to go ahead and drink it after that. So let's go ahead, get a little nose on the thing. Shane, put your mustache on it.
Got to.
What does Happy Hour have this for right now? Sitting in there.
I think it is $66.99. So again, another product that you guys can come get right here at Happy Hour for $66.99. And we'll get into why that price point is a little approachable for a product like this. Yeah. But it is here at Happy Hour. One thing to remember. What's
going to happen to you all if you are not already bourbon drinkers? You're going to start off with a $30 limit. It's going to go to 40. It's going to go to 50. And you're going to keep growing, because you'll understand that it's worth the quality as you climb. Now, some bottles are not, but we're going to try to highlight the ones that are worth it for the price point. So that being said, what do we get on that nose? Anything early?
Man, I love turkey. Turkey is one of my another one of my palate pleasers. So to speak.
I like turkey on my sandwiches rather than ham too.
See, no, I'll tell you the best meat on a sandwich. I know
roast beef is crazy.
Roast beef
and bacon.
Thank you.
Come on, man.
See, like, I used to always get clowned when we went on road trips and I picked roast beef. Everyone's like, "Oh, you got roast beef?" Yes, I got roast beef.
Well, what do you want? Something like roast beef.
Please make sure you get roast beef for some.
Hey, man, I'm a roast beef fan.
It's good.
No, this doesn't smell like roast beef.
No. That's all I thought.
Sorry, I had to throw that out there.
But no, back to, turkey is one that it, definitely pleases my nose palate. Again, this is another bottle that you should see on shelves everywhere, and for really good reason. You're getting a barrel-proof bourbon from a heritage distillery, and it bats way up there in my opinion. Nose-wise, one thing that always sticks out to me with most turkey products, not all, but most, is like just this awesome orange creamsicle nose, which I'm not an orange creamsicle fan.
Which is insane.
I don't like that. That's a whole nother topic, but
orange creamsicle's up there, man.
Arby's,
it's up there.
So good.
You like roast beef, so why would you not go there and get a roast beef and an orange creamsicle shake together? What kind of sense does that make, man?
You like fast food cold cuts? Just say yes or no. Say yes.
What do you? They're warm. I don't get a cold cut at Arby's.
But they're cold cuts.
They're warm cold cut. They're warm cut.
All right, that's enough.
That's enough.
It's enough out of
enough out of
anyway, I think the overarching nose is a orange creamsicle. I think this is just the best way to put it, because I get tons of that just like punch of citrus, then a really creamy like back end to the nose, and then it kind of goes into that oak peppery type of to nose. So it's so complex on this nose for a Shelford $60 bourbon.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, nose-wise for me, Tuck, the sweetness that I get out of this is almost like a birthday cake icing. Okay. That's kind of what I'm getting out of that. I mean, it doesn't smell directly like that, because I'm still getting some of that citrusy. It's almost like Smells like the Flintstone vitamins a little bit.
Okay.
You ever eat those as a kid?
Yeah, that's
It's
kind
like
of a little nostalgia.
It's like a fruit punchy vitamin-y. That's kind of a weird back end, but I'm getting that first, like birthday cake icing sweetness first.
Yeah.
And then kind of that fruit that's coming through, like I said, is like the fruit vitamins or like a fruit punch. But I will say the ethanol is definitely present on the nose. It's not necessarily off-putting, but it's there. I mean, I can definitely tell I'm smelling a higher proof here, which is not necessarily bad.
Yeah.
It's just that I can tell the ethanol's there and I can feel it.
After putting my mustache on it, I would like to say that I think that it's got like a citrus. It's almost like a citrus cologne. Is where I'm gonna say
Perfumey
yes.
cologne.
I see why you say it.
And the reason I say that is because, as Bryce was talking about, with the high proof with the ethanol, the level of the proof being up there, I'm getting that oily essence out of it. So it's going to lead me to think that the mouthfeel on this is going to be awesome because looking at the legs on it, the viscosity as it runs down my glass, it's going to, I can already tell that it's going to be something that is going to have a great buttery, oily mouth feel on it. As far as the nose itself goes, kind of with you guys with like a citrusy cologne type high class bourbon, and I'm gonna sit right at 4 crowns on that. And the reason I say that is if we remember last week with the Bardstown, it was a good smelling bourbon, something that was high class. But this is the same thing but better.
It's like elevated.
It's like it's way better. Like it's like wow. Like this is I'm getting these notes off of it. It's high class. It's good bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
4 crowns out of 5.
4 crowns. You're standing on that one, huh?
Standing
Feeling
on
good
that.
about it.
Standing on it.
Tucker, you want to go ahead and go?
Yeah, I'll go.
All right.
So I already prefaced, for me, nose rating on this Wild Turkey Rare Breed. I love turkey products. This just does it for me, man. I think it really it hits a lot of things that I love. So with that being said, I mean this is right at like 4.3 for me.
Wow,
it's up there, dude. Like this is one that I just it's just good, man. It's just awesome. Good. It's just good nose.
I'll say this. I'm going to shoot under them, and it's not because I don't like it. I just don't like it as much as you are on the nose. You almost like you look like you rolled your eyes or something.
Yeah, because you like Arby's too.
All right, bro.
I like Arby's, and I'm agreeing with you.
Bro, like roast beef and don't like Arby's. Anyway,
why are you saying eat it cold?
That's all. They don't know that reference. If you know that reference, leave a comment. Anyway, that's just a little Easter egg right there. But nose-wise, man, I mean, I'm getting to, like I said, I've already described the notes on it. I'm not like, oh my God, this is incredible. But if I blind sniffed it, I was gonna say blind tasted it. If I blind sniffed it, I can tell the quality in this.
Yeah.
There's craftsmanship in here. There's age on it. The mash bill is pleasing. I mean, just on the nose. Give me a. Y'all gonna be pissed. Give me a 3.6 on the nose. It's not bad. That's not a bad ranking though. That's not a bad ranking. It's just that I'm just not overly overwhelmed like you all are, I think. But you're also, you know what it's going to taste like. Yeah. And you know that. And I do too, but anyway.
Let's get into that.
Men.
Let's get into that. Y'all didn't even air cheers this time. That's how I know y'all are hyped about this bottle. You did a real one.
That pisses me off how good that is. Wow.
I'll be honest. I'll be 100% honest. It's a little better than I remember.
I'm telling you.
And I never thought it was bad. I really never thought it was bad, but I mean,
I think every time I drink this bottle, I remember that it's $66.
Mm-hmm.
It's barrel proof from Wild Turkey. And you're like, I can go get this whenever I want. And that's, I mean, you can put that up against a lot of bottles, a lot of even allocated bottles, a lot of things that people would say on paper are better than that, and you can put that in a blind, and it's going to win a lot of the times, in my opinion.
Well, that's happened with us with turkey products, and that's something to be looking out for. We're going to get into an episode of cost-efficient bourbons, and that's something that you guys should really be looking at because we're going to be talking about some stuff that is fantastic, and there's some turkey products that stood pound for pound against some crazy stuff. So be looking around for that. But just like Tucker was talking about, I mean, this product's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
It for me, it really like the first second that you taste, you put in your mouth, it like coats the whole dome. I mean, like you're like, wow, this is awesome. Like it's just really good. And I hate to be on a podcast talking about, wow, this bourbon's so awesome, but like it is. We have it on here for a reason. And that's something that we want to showcase to you guys. But it's really good.
So give me some tasting notes, Shane. I mean, I know we're obviously all feeling it. Y'all probably more than me, but I'm still really enjoying it. But I mean, what notes are you getting on the?
I might need a couple more sips before I get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tucker, you
Right
ready
now,
for
I'm
that,
just
brother?
going palate. I mean, well, not palate wise, but just
A little
feel.
description.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Sure.
I love the complexity of this. It's definitely a turkey product. Obviously that citrus note shines. One thing I love about Rare Breed and what I'm getting right here that maybe I don't always get from Rare Breed is I'm getting a really nice like deep cherry as well, which I love. Deep cherry, you get that slight wild turkey yeast funk, which is good. It's like sometimes we have bourbon where it has that funk and it's like really off-putting. I feel like in this instance, it almost elevates the experience, gives it maybe like a tang or a savory note that I love, and then it just finishes off with the best like vanilla oak. Like the oak presence in this bottle is so solid. So orange, cherry, funk, oak. I mean, it's almost like it has like it's like a not cocktail old fashioned. Like it has so many really great like old fashioned esque notes, but it's barrel proof turkey.
I'll follow you up. I would say I'm getting like some pit fruit in there. Definitely like cherry essence. Maybe not peach, but it's some fruitiness. But also, this is like a weird compilation of things, but almost like when I drink this, it sounds so weird, and I'm kind of all over the place. It's like leaves and just fall, and it like cinnamon and
Nutmeg,
fruit. Like it's just like this is a fantastic fall drink.
Yeah.
Something that it stands up to some of the big dogs out there, and I mean it is a big dog itself, but definitely like pit fruit, baking spices, and it's something that I can't wait to get into the finish portion of this because it changed completely at the back end.
Yeah.
As far as like some of those spices really popping out. It's really good though.
All right, y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? If I say the wrong word, Tucker's gonna jump me over this thing. But I mean, and don't get me wrong. What I'm about to say again, this is a really good bottle. I want to be clear about that first. However, this is like y'all. I'm just not getting into it quite as much as you all are. I'm getting the fall vibes. I see what you mean. It's just like there's something about it, and it's almost like there's three prominent things I'm getting in here. It's leather. I'm getting an orange rind, like not orange, the fruit, like the rind from an orange, and then that oak. Those are the three prominent things for me. And I'm seeing some of the other influences that you all are saying, some of the things that you're describing. I totally understand it, but I'm just not like blown away. It's good. It's really good. And I feel what you're saying about it does coat your mouth. The viscosity of this is incredible. I love it. It's a thick liquid. It's a thick bourbon. I'm enjoying it. I like it. With that being said, I still don't think that I feel like you all feel.
Sure.
So let's go ahead and rank the palate, and let's see where we are on that, because that'll tell us what we're really feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I can go right now. I mean, I'm
Tucker's
I'm telling you.
let's
So
go.
this is gonna be a high review for me. I don't think that's a secret. I'm good to stand on that type of stuff. I mean, this is 4 or 5 for me, like palate wise, and the finish is gonna be high too. So, but I'm just
4 or 5, Tuck.
This is, but
it's not insane. I mean, it's not insane that you're saying that. I just don't agree. But look at Shane. He's thinking about his right now. I know you too well, Shane. He's thinking. Look at him. Wheels are turning up there.
You good, Tuck? You done?
I'm good.
Or are you going back
Done.
in? I'm sitting straight at 4 crowns.
Okay.
It's consistent. It's not the best bourbon I've ever had, but one thing that I like about it is don't take this the wrong way. It's spicy.
Yeah.
But it's not like proof spicy. We are proof hounds, so like we like the higher proof stuff. So it's not gonna hit us as crazy. But if you know how to drink bourbon and you kind of let it sit and coat and then you're not drinking it straight back. It's got that nice spice to it, and it's something that's just even keel. It's nice. It's good. Got great flavor. 4 crowns out of 5.
Here's my thing that is really kind of keeping me from elevating it to that 4 level, because like I said, it is good. It's a really good bourbon, but honestly, that orange rind, there's like a bitterness. It's not sitting with me very well.
Yeah.
And the longer I just, I keep sipping this thing, I'm not really feeling that.
So let me cut you off real quick. Now, you're not really too keen to turkey, are you?
Okay, yes and no.
Just no.
Yes and no. And yes, and that's a good point
Right.
too. This is, and that's again where you get into these personal preference things where I can sit here and say, this is a really good bourbon. This is well made. This is quality, but it's not necessarily my palate.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So that's one thing to keep in mind as people are growing in their bourbon walk, whatever. It's hard to, like, you guys can leave in the comments, well, what do you guys suggest for me? Like, what do you guys, it's going to be up to you.
Yep.
Ultimately, that is the biggest takeaway. If you don't take anything else away from us, we are giving our honest opinion, but at the end of the day, what you think about the bourbon is what you think about the bourbon. When I ask people what they get off palate or whatever, what they get off the nose, I always say it's not a quiz question. It's what you're getting, because you could say something off the walls, and I'll think about it and be like, I can see why you're getting that.
And there's no wrong answer to that. And
Never
that's a
wrong
really
answer.
good point. So, like I said, I'm sitting here looking at this thinking this is a really good bourbon. It's just not my cup of tea. And I say that to say I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, that orange rind, there's just a bitterness that's just throwing me off. That, like, there's so many brilliant flavors in here. And then I get that and I'm like, ugh. Like, it's just throwing me off a bit. I'm still gonna set it at a 3.7.
Yeah.
3.7 crowns, which is still a really good ranking. Again, it's just not my
Because it's quality. It's quality.
It's quality. It's a quality bourbon. It's just not my favorite kind of quality bourbon. Correct. And that's a really good point that you brought that up to share that with people, because I get that all the time. Well, what's your favorite bourbon? I'll go get it. I'm like, well, you might not want to do that.
You might not like that.
If I say, Shane, what's your favorite food, but I don't like that kind of food, doesn't mean that it's not well made. It's just not what I like.
Yeah, great point.
I'm tired of the Arby's slander. We can disagree on the bourbon, but you say something else about Arby's, we're gonna take a break.
We have to put
We're
Arby's
gonna take a break
in the description, because
the Arby's episode. The Arby's.
People, you guys need to comment right now if you like.
You know what? We'll put a poll. We can put.
All right, we can put.
I know for a fact on some of our things that we can put a poll, and we'll put a poll and see if people, if you do or you don't like or eat Arby's.
And give me a curly fry with the roast beef and the orange cream shake. You're a hater, man.
We can just
straight up hater.
Think what you just said.
Straight
curly
up
fries, roast beef sandwich, and orange creamsicle shake.
That sounds great.
Anyway, let's go ahead and
let's get into the finish.
Let's get into the finish.
All right.
Before I finish you.
Since Tuck wants to go, I'm gonna go, because I think it's
whatever. Go.
I'm gonna give this 4.3 crowns out of 5 on the finish, and the reason I'm doing that is because I alluded to some of those spices that I like, and when you have a complex finish, it's awesome. So for me, as I'm getting it in the front end, it's kind of like citrusy. I'm getting some of the good viscosity, good mouthfeel, but then it is a lengthy finish, and that can be alluding to some of the proof that we're seeing here. But as far as like the spiciness goes, man, that's just hitting on all cylinders for a minute. Like, I took a sip a while back, and I'm still getting and that's awesome. So 4.3 crowns for me, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I think finish wise too, like piggybacking off of Shane, I think it's a very long finish. Sticks with you. One key note that I'm getting in the back end of my finish is like a very strong, almost bitter barrel note. So your orange rind could be like a bitter barrel for me, which definitely does turn it down just a hair for me. I don't always love the strong barrel like bitterness. Yeah. But with that being said, like as far as finish goes, like you get that bright orange pop with the finish. Like mid is like a sweeter caramel, cherry, whatever, and then it's like that bitter kind of is what's sticking with me. So I'm a little bit lower on the finish. Still in the 4s though. 4.1 on the finish,
4.1. 4.1 out of 5.
This is where I'm really about to get some looks from you two gentlemen here. All right. I enjoyed the palate more than I enjoyed the finish on this thing.
Really?
Yeah. I'll be honest, man. It's ethanol-y to me. It kind of like it's almost like vapor. It's like alcohol vapor. I mean, it's not finishing as long for me as I really would expect from a proof this high. And that's again just my palate, my my feel about it. But I mean, I'm gonna put it at Tucker hates that. But you know what? Your finish was lower than your palate, and my finish should be lower than my palate. That's how I feel.
Higher.
And yours was higher. We told y'all we disagree sometimes. It's just how it's going to be. But I'm going to put it at a 3.5. It's not blowing me away. It's 3.5 crowns, which is well above average. Because 2.5 would be, or no, 2 would be average. Yeah. No, 2.5. We're 5 crowns.
2.5 would be average.
2.5 will be average. So
it's
a full crown. It's a full crown above average for me. But it's still not. I'm not like, oh my gosh. Sometimes you'll drink a bourbon and you sit there for a good 3 minutes and you're just like smacking your lips because it's like I'm not getting that. It's not doing that for me. So I'm putting it at 3.5 crowns on the finish. And I guess that really kind of moves us into total how we're feeling. I mean, you guys ready to fully rank this thing? Do we need another sip before we?
No, I'm good.
I'm ready.
I'm good.
Let's go ahead and rank it, man.
First, you go first since you hate it.
Yeah, hater.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I'm just gonna be honest. Again, I think that this being still a premium bourbon, I would consider it that. I mean, Turkey makes good products regardless. I'm not necessarily the biggest Turkey stan, but I like it still. Proof point, price, everything. I can't touch 4. I'm putting it 3.7 total, 3.7 crowns, which is not, again, it's not a bad ranking. It's just that you got some people who are really Turkey fans, or that some of those notes are really crazy about. I'm not. 3.7 crowns. I'll leave it at that, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely passionate about this brand in particular. I enjoy mostly everything from Turkey. Their products just do sit well with me, which could have some bias to the score. My palate just hits right on these. I think if anything lacks on this bottle, it is a slight bitterness on the finish. I think we kind of documented that, but as far as that, I mean, this bottle to me doesn't have too many low spots. I am in the 4s. I'm 4.3 with this bottle.
I do get it, man. So I do get it. I really do.
Again, I talked about this in the second episode with the 4 Roses Super Premium. This is another one of those heritage brands that just sit right with me personally. So, 4.3?
4.3, yeah.
4.3 on this bottle for my final crowns ranking.
Okay,
cool. For mine, I'm going to say 4.1 crowns out of 5. I think that is fantastic, but I kind of want to get creative with my overall ranking. This would almost be a 5 for me and this is never going to happen, if they did like a honey barrel finish.
Oh, that'd be nuts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now you just said something, Shane.
No, that'd be.
You said something, brother.
If they did a honey barrel finish, we would be looking at a hot honey product. And I don't know. I think I would buy the whole stock.
Good call, Shane.
You'd buy everything.
That would be
good
really cool.
Good call.
But I mean, obviously, maybe we could do something.
What'd you say though? 4.1?
4.1.
3.7.
And 4.3. And I will say this too. There's certain bourbons that I like better neat. There are certain bourbons I like better on ice. I like this on ice a lot better. On ice. Now I will sip a barrel proof, foolproof bourbon on or neat all the time. I really enjoy that. But this one in particular fares better with me with ice. So that may be some of this, I may be skewed a little bit understanding that I know that I like this with ice a little bit more. And that's just me.
That would be something to consider for our listeners and viewers. You guys may want to try different things. And I think it's important to visit places like, I believe they do it here. I could be wrong, but I know Jake's Cigar Bar for a fact does limestone water on their ice. So that's something to look into. Ice is always great. I think it's awesome. Not something that I do almost ever, but I do like it if it's limestone water. If you put so bourbon, quick story, real quick. So bourbon is going to be made generally out of limestone water. So if you put the limestone ice in your bourbon, it's not going to change the complexity of it. It'll just change the
It just slightly waters it
Yes.
down,
And
but
the
without
proof,
it can basically it kind of takes the proof from here to here without changing the flavor.
But if you're getting
In a
ice
wild way.
out of your fridge, which I'm not uncondoning or saying
Yeah,
don't do
yeah.
that, it may change the complexity of your bourbon. So if you are just a drinker on the rocks at home,
Yeah.
maybe try it neat a few times, and you might totally see something totally different from your bourbon.
And if you're like Tucker, you have frozen roast beef in your freezer, and it's going to taint your ice flavor a little bit. And then you're going to have like a roast beef pour, which is, interesting. I like roast beef. I'm a roast beef
We
stand.
get a
but
beef and cheddar, man, on the way home.
I don't want a
Go
beef and
get-
cheddar. I want the regular
why
joint.
not?
Just the regular one. I don't need a beef and cheddar. I don't want the cheddar on it.
Well, that concludes our tasting and our overview of the Wild Turkey Rare Breed today. So we're going to go ahead and move into a segment of our show called the King's Court. Bryce, you want to kick us off today?
Yes. So we had GOAT debate. Sorry, I had to stretch for this one real quick because I got some points, man.
All right.
We had a GOAT debate, basketball, and it really wasn't a debate last time because we all felt the same way because there's only one answer. LeBron's the GOAT. Anyway, we're moving into music this time. I want to preface this with saying that it is Michael Jackson, and it just is. There's not really a argument there, in my opinion. However, I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'm going to let y'all run with it. My favorite artist of all time, hands down, no questions asked, is Drake. Aubrey Drake Graham, my favorite of all time. However, Michael Jackson is Michael freaking Jackson. Dude created a genre and had that following in a time of no social media, in a time of internet not really being that big of a thing, and created mass hysteria of people in other countries who didn't know English but knew the words of his song.
That's fair.
Michael Jackson, that's what it, and I'll let you go from there.
I will venture to say I feel like there's only 3 artists, groups, whatever, that are possibly in this conversation. If you guys think that there's someone else, please let us know. I think it would be Michael Jackson, Drake, and the Beatles. I don't know if anyone has impacted music more than them.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who almost listens to country music more than any other genre, but Drake is my favorite artist. Now, I have one reason why Drake is the best artist of all time. Regardless of the content that he creates, we are in an era where you can get music on any platform at any time, any medium, whatever. And for Drake to be number 1 consecutively so many times amongst all the different genres, it's hard to say that he's not the GOAT statistically.
Yeah.
Because let's talk about this.
Mhm.
Michael Jackson in his era or the Beatles in their era, people could listen to them, but it was almost like that's just who you are going to listen to.
On the
Today,
radio.
what
So
is
you're
it?
saying there was less competition, essentially, as far as being able to consume media.
Back then,
Yeah,
back then, there was way less
Yeah,
competition.
I see why you
But
say
today,
that.
I
Yeah.
could drop a song and push it, and people might listen to it. But Drake is competing against everybody. He's competing literally, and he's number 1 consecutively. So yes, Drake is my favorite artist, and he does all kinds of different things. I love that Drake, taps into Latino music. He taps into dance music.
The whole island vibe is
Island
cool. I
vibe,
mean,
all
I'm with
that.
you. I get it.
And maybe he's not the artist for that, but for him to take a step out there and be like, I'm a rapper, I'm a singer, I do this, I do that,
R&B.
whatever, and to be competing and number 1 consecutively, he the GOAT.
I get it. And this is,
Yeah.
again, like, this is almost, which I actually kind of cool that we're having this debate while we're drinking this bottle. I'm like, I get it. I'm not saying, I love Drake. Like, I love Drake, but
Dre.
I don't necessarily agree with you. And
If you release something, I would listen, though. I would be one of the
Shane,
people to
actually, if you
listen.
release a song, I'm not going to listen
Damn.
Bear,
unless I feature on it.
what would your name be?
I think it would just be Shane.
SB2.
Little Bear?
Nah, no bear. Into it.
SB2.
No.
That would be kind of like
I think
Nah, Shane, like Shane, period, or like
just like Shane.
Shane.
Yeah.
I tell you guys, I've thought about it before. Since it's on the podcast, maybe I'm gonna have to do something. I don't
Shane
know.
can sing actually
You
a little
actually
bit. I was
can
gonna say, I
sing,
actually
though.
forgot about that. Shane can sing a little bit.
I'll think about
I
it.
can sing
Let me give
too.
a quick shout out. Anitria Burks taught this boy how to sing.
Shout out to my mom, dog.
Yeah,
I mean,
she-
she be singing, boy.
Yeah.
So shout out to Anitra. She be at Consolidated Baptist Church, and she be singing with Honey Child. So
That's
if
right.
you're in Lexington,
That's right.
tap into
Yep,
Honey Child.
yep.
That is my mom. So
You know what's
shout out
embarrassing,
to
Shane,
my
is
bro.
that we both have singing parents, and you got the gene, and I didn't really. I mean, I can sing. It's just I need 6 beers, and I got to be at Tin Roof, and karaoke night. That's it. And I will sing my heart out to some George Strait or something like that. You know,
There's no disrespect to that.
but it's just that, like, man, I just like my dad can sing, and I just can't.
But
really.
you sang at 10 and I was singing JR's.
Yeah, you've been. Yeah.
It's whatever. Let's talk about
I've
the
been in
goat,
that-
man. You wait till I'm gonna
Goat Drake.
I'm gonna practice when I get home.
Goat Drake. Goat Drake. I mean,
Goat's Drake.
I think it's a similar argument to what we had last time with LeBron. Like, I think about somebody who I've listened to my whole life,
Right.
since I've been young, been on the radio,
Yeah.
to this moment in time. And another point about Drake one thing I love about Drake, for better or for worse, especially with the recent album, you know, maybe not something in the moment that we were like, oh, this is his best work. I think it will still stand the test of time. All of his albums, I can flick on any album right now, including Honestly Nevermind or For All the Dogs or whatever, and it's still going to hit for me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still going to find something that I'm going to like out of it. And one thing I love about Drake, and I think Michael Jackson did do this as well, but Drake was always ahead of the time. He always evolved.
Ahead of the curve.
You know what I'm saying?
He was
Like,
a pioneer.
like-
I agree.
think about, I think the most prominent one of what a lot of people think about is Honestly Nevermind, where when he announced this surprise album, I remember texting about it. You and I
Bro,
texted about it.
I stayed up.
You're like, Drake's dropping an album tonight. It's gonna be insane. And then I remember texting about it. We were listening to it. We're like, what is this? We're like, what is this?
This
I was-
techno.
I was so
club.
distraught, dog. I was distraught.
and then, like, to this day, I still bump Honestly Nevermind.
Bro, there's some bangers on there.
There's some songs in there. I'm like,
So I'm gonna say this, and we're about to wrap up. But I feel like for Honestly Nevermind and For All the Dogs, there was some preface in there to where, you know, he's like, I'm just gonna drop this album for Honestly Nevermind. And I'm like, all right, Drake's about to come with some heat.
some heaters.
So in my mind, I'm thinking like, all right, we're about to get like some prime Drake, like some
Yeah.
real stuff.
Give it to me.
Bro. Drake also said that he was gonna be dropping some old Drake
Yeah.
on For All the Dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, to him, maybe that was old Drake, but for me, that's
It's
not
not old Drake.
Wasn't old
pretty
Drake.
much almost the equivalent of crap. I'm thinking of the album Certified Lover Boy. It's almost the equivalent. The exact same thing.
Yeah.
Exact same music.
Let's see why you.
Modernized.
Yes, modernized Drake. But like, I'm expecting one thing and then it's another thing. So I'm kind of like, dang, this kind of blows. But you kind of like, all right, let me listen to it for what it is, and then you can enjoy it after that.
I got one more thing, and I just want y'all to think about this because I'm sure y'all probably
I got one
haven't
more
even
thing, too.
thought about this. Well, I have 2 more things then. I know we got to wrap up, but just think about it like this too. Here's the other thing about Michael Jackson. We saw Michael Jackson as a child with the
Yeah.
Jackson 5
That is
lead
true.
that group, and a lot of times people think Mike. You know what I'm saying? We're looking at Beat It, we're looking about the Bad Album and all this stuff, which is incredible. But dude was a child prodigy singing a completely different genre. Then he made his own.
This is true.
And like I said, what he did, the impact on the world that he had. I mean, Drake says it. He's chasing Michael Jackson. He's trying to achieve that level, which nobody's been able to do. When Michael Jackson was dropping these songs, they're like, is this, rock? Is it what?
R&B?
I mean, he was pop. He created pop music because it was like, what category would we put him in? Is it dance? Is it disco? Is it?
Yeah.
We don't know. He was so good. He pioneered an entire genre. I think that, to me, you look from him being a child to even after he turned white, he was still dropping bangers. He just did. I mean, that's a long.
Drake was on Degrassi.
That's what I was gonna say.
Did
We've seen Drake as a kid. We've
my
seen Drake
God.
as a kid in a wheelchair.
Jackson 5
We've seen
classic.
But we've seen Michael Jackson in a wheelchair. No.
Drake wasn't actually in a wheelchair in real life. Michael
Oh
Jackson
my
actually.
God.
Never mind.
Drake got shot.
Fake shot. What was his name on the show?
Jimmy.
Jimmy got shot. Drake didn't get smoked.
Watch it.
I didn't either. But we got 15 years out of dominance out of Drake. Michael, incredible. This is the influence on the music world. We'll see that from Drake. And you know what else we'll see? We'll see another 3 Kings Bourbon Podcast episode. And with that, we're going to let y'all go. And we'll see you next time. Appreciate y'all so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate your guys' support. If you like what you're seeing, please check us out on
YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and And follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yeah, and one last thing, another shout out, another thank you to Happy Hour Bar and Liquor Store here in Nicholasville, Kentucky. You guys come check this place out. It's great.